This podcast is a reading of Siven Oddaiyyan's basis of Aaiyyanist philosophy and is a quick introduction into Aayyanism. Special thanks to the Aaiyyanist administrators who translated Siven's work into English on his blog. We are also very grateful for the help from Aaiyyanist Rolando Corzo, who helped proofread this English text and fixed many grammatical errors. This is a reading of extracts 1 to 3. What it means to be a Hindu Aaiyyanist. Who is the founder of Aayyanism and when was Aayyanism born? And finally, how to live as an Aaiyyanist. Part 1. What it means to be a Hindu Aaiyyanist. To be a Hindu Aaiyyanist, one must simply believe that all beings are one with Brahman. When we mean all beings, we literally mean everything in this universe, and the multitude of universes that surround us. We also mean everything in the multitude of dimensions that contain these innumerable universes. What this means in practice is that we must love everyone unconditionally as one, even if they are our enemies, or even if they are considered to be evil entities. I know this sounds like a radical idea, but even negative entities like Asuras and Rakshasas are part of Brahman. They are just another expression of the truth. Some Aaiyanists are drawn to the path of positivity and truth, finding solace in meditation and research. Other Hindu Aaiyanists strive for the tantric path and attempt to find the bridge to Brahman by invoking and learning from negative entities. There is no right and wrong path in this life. All roads eventually lead to the one, Brahman. So, my fellow Aaiyanists may disagree on what is the best approach to finding liberation. Some may find it through devotion, learning, immersing oneself in the tantric path, or simply becoming a strict purist ascetic. We are all one and must remember that. However, fighting against each other is also part of our oneness, so the true Aayyanist like myself can neither judge, condemn nor condone any actions by anyone. In order to understand fully the life choices by our peers, we must walk in their shoes and live their life. Only the trained Aaiyanists can remember their past lives and can understand many fragments of the whole, but we still cannot comprehend someone's actions in this timeline, as we also exist in it. Thus, the solution is to simply love everyone as one, as a subset and a part of Brahman. And by loving comes understanding. And from that understanding comes knowing and learning some sort of truth that you did not know existed before, until you have felt it from a stranger who thinks, acts, and is spiritually dissimilar to yourself. That journey to the truth is the essence of Hindu Aayyanism. Part 2. Who is the founder of Aayyanism and when was Aayyanism born? Many Aayyanist scholars have debated this question. The obvious answer is that Aayyanism was founded by Aaiyyamurugan. But who is Aaiyyamurugan? There are several answers to this question. The first one is that Aayya is an incarnation of Shiva, his first incarnation. This is believed by many Aayyanist schools such as the Karyakarta and the Sanikite schools. Other mainstream schools such as the Atmani believe that Aaiyyamurugan is the offspring of Shiva and Parvati, that is, their child, but much more than this. Aayya is the blending of the masculine and feminine aspects of godhood and so is neither male nor female. Other Dravidian schools also equate Aayya with Murugan. That is, the son of Shiva and Parvati. I and many other scholars personally believe that all of this is true. Aaiyyamurugan is the incarnation of Shiva and the descendant of Shiva in the form of Murugan, and is the universal combination of Shiva and Parvati to create a new being that surpasses them both and creates a new aspect of Brahman that did not exist in the confines of Brahman before. Suffice it to say, the message of Aaryanism was directed by Aayya and was spread throughout the ages in the many incarnations of Aaiyya. The first incarnation of Aaiyya was around 100,000 years ago, according to Dravidian Aaiyyanist historians. It was a time when the human species was quite young and the spiritual and material world was much closer than it is now. It was also a time before the block Surapadman was placed that separated these worlds and dimensions. It was in this first incarnation that the young humans were taught the ancient language of Dravidian Aaiyani, a language and script so powerful that it was, and still is, able to unlock the doors between different realities. In this reality, there is not just this universe and its energies. There are countless positive, lokas, and negative, talas, dimensions that surround our one. These dimensions exist outside of our space and time, but some are closer to ours than others. Brahman persists in all of the dimensions, or realities, but Brahman's essence can be found in the center. Murugan Aayya taught humanity how to use the scripts of Dravidian Aaiyani to inscribe areas of space that would resonantly link with other areas of space-time in near and far dimensions. Thus, when you inscribe this information or language, the portals are opened to other lokas and talas and resonant energy can flow between those planes to ours. Aayya taught us how to use these energies to affect our own reality and others. Aayya Murugan taught us how to use the resonant energies to heal, see into the distant past and future, how to travel, via astral projection, to those planes and to other worlds. Aayya taught us how to converse with beings that exist in those realms, including the higher gods. By conversing with the higher gods, one can pray more effectively and directly with the supreme beings that govern our universe and many others. To put it more simply, Aaiyanists believe that Aayya Murugan taught humans the key to unlocking this universe by understanding how the spiritual flow of energy and matter can change our reality. From this teaching of Dravidian Aaiyani, all things follow. Thus, once humans had mastered the language of the gods, Aayya then taught humans the philosophy of the universe and how we are all one with Brahman. Aayya Murugan taught us how to live our lives via the various schools of philosophy and how to eat, pray, expand our consciousness, meditate, perform sacred rituals, remember our past lives and how to liberate ourselves from this reality. Once Aayya taught us this knowledge, humanity used this wisdom for thousands of years. Thus, the golden age of Dravidian Aaryanism was born, until it was destroyed in the Kallaya incident. The Aaiyyanist community was split and dwindled for many thousands of years. Aayya Murugan then returned a second time, after the Aryan invasions of the Dravidian lands, to re-educate humanity via the teachings of Aayya. This was in 1500 BC. Some of the original Aayanist practitioners were around when Aayya re-emerged in 1500 BC, and this small community spread the teachings to the non-Dravidians. And it is this first step that has resulted in Aaiyanists existing, praying, teaching, healing and practicing throughout the world in so many different countries today. Part 3. How to live as an Aayanist. I have had innumerable correspondences from many people on what is the best path to take as an Aayanist. I would say though, that this sort of thinking is misguided. In Aaryanism, one is allowed, or even obliged, to study and research as many aspects of Brahman as is possible in this lifetime. In other words, to understand, even slightly, the vast diversity of Brahman's path and knowledge, one must study, experience and ultimately live a full and varied life. One is allowed to work and have a family or live as a hermit for many years. Both are part of the will of Brahman. In fact, I know many Aaiyanists who live as a hermit, as a solitary monk, then form a family and have a wife or husband and children. But then later in life, go back to a monastic life with a group of fellow Aaiyanists until finally they become wandering sannyasins. Both men and women follow this path as it is a natural path for the spiritually inclined. I know of other Aayanist men and women who build up their career, have a family and enjoy the wonders of deep community relations. Then after their responsibilities have diminished, they become wandering teachers and healers for several years before returning to their community and family to resume their familial duties before they pass on to the next life. I have examples of fellow high Aayanists, members of the inner chamber, who follow the pure path in terms of research and meditation, but experience the richness of Tantra in their personal life. There are practitioners of the Ayurvedic Ardhra school who also practice the martial forms of Sanikaich. So, the question is, how do you live your life as an ideal Aayanist? Firstly, you must study, learn about Aayyanism, mainstream Hinduism, the many different paths of Hindu thought and philosophy. Learn about other faiths and belief systems. Dravidian Aayyanism is the highest form of Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge, thus you must learn everything. You must learn philosophy, mathematics, poetry, music, dance, language. As you learn, you must also allow life to guide you in your path. Your subconscious mind knows, from its previous karmic knowledge bank, what you need to do in this life. You will know it when you feel comfortable and relaxed in the path that you have taken. You will intuitively know when to change that path when your subconscious mind talks to your conscious mind and shows you that you need to move on to the next path. This can be realized as simply as feeling bored or unfulfilled or uncomfortable. This is our subconscious mind telling us what we already know and have been programmed to do since we were born. As all Dravidian Hindu Aaiyanists know, that on death, we as Aaiyanists simply do not reincarnate directly into the next body, though most humans and other beings do. At the moment of death, we have a choice. Many souls who are untrained rush quickly into the next life as they long for life so much. Other more experienced spiritual souls go to what Aaiyanists traditionally call Mikaya or heaven, where they can spend their time in bliss for a short while or a very long time relatively. But the true Aaiyanists will know that in order to be closer to the one we must pay our karmic debt or break the karmic cycle to truly advance our souls. For what are we here for, but to advance to the next level? The Aayanist can choose to be judged. Brahman, the gods and the higher positive and negative entities of all talas and lokas discuss with you your duties. Then you yourself will choose your next life and go back to the various material planets that exists in the universe to repay your karmic debt and learn the spiritual teachings of the universe. That is why when you are reborn, you are almost always meeting the same souls that you met in a previous life. This is because you have a spiritual karmic link with others which you must address before you can truly become one again. So, how do you lead your life? First, study and experience many things, but remember the most important thing is to allow yourself to make those life decisions as you actually know what to do, either subconsciously or consciously. Remember, all experiences help us understand the One and helps us become one by breaking the karmic cycle. This is the end of the podcast. Join us again for more learning and do subscribe, share and like. Many thanks.